Hello friends! Now that we have already built our glove box and we have our jars and medium ready and our orchid seed pod is ripe 12 months after pollination, it is finally time to sow the seeds. The sowing process can be slightly different according to how the seed pod was picked. That is, if it was still green and intact, or if it had already begun to crack open. If we can pick the fruits still green and shut closed, there is no need to disinfect the seeds, because they are well protected in there. But if we pick the fruit after it has opened up, even if ever so slightly, then we must disinfect them before sowing. If you want to pick your capsule while still closed, you must first learn what the maturation time is for the species you're working with. Different species have very different maturation periods, from just a few months to more than a year. Even within the same species, there may be up to 20% variation, either for longer or for shorter. It will depend on the plant, the weather, growing conditions. You don't want to pick them too early and still immature, incapable of germination. Make sure they have gone through at least 80% of the average maturation period for the species. If you're not sure, leave it alone a little more. If it cracks open, you can always do the dry sowing process by disinfecting the seeds. But keep an eye on that pod. Once it cracks open, it will be empty in no time. All it takes is a slight breeze. Pick a room in the house where you can have a table with an easy-to-clean top made of glass, stone, stainless steel, or other washable surface. We're going to be using a lot of bleach on top of it. It must be a place you can restrict access to anyone who lives with you for a few days. I mean, anyone. The day before, you clean that room really well. Sweep the floor, mop it with a bleach solution, wash your table with soap and water. Then let's sprinkle some bleach solution on top of the table to start disinfecting it and getting rid of the spores. Now lock the room, doors and windows. Don't let anybody in anymore. In the next few hours, the particles still floating in the air will have time to settle down. On the next day, mop the floor again with water and bleach. Same thing with the table, and then wait no less than 2 hours before starting the procedures. Sanitize your hands with alcohol and wear a cloth mask to avoid your breath spreading particles all over the jars. What? You think it's overkill? You see, even with all of this, you still get 10 to 20% contaminated jars. Bring all the tools and materials you'll need onto the table, all previously sanitized and disinfected. Bring the glove box we made on episode 4 too. To start with, sprinkle bleach solution all over the interior of the box, especially the gloves. Then close it to allow the chlorine vapor to do its job in there. I have some seeds of 𝕊𝕚𝕕𝕤 to sow. I have them covered here as a precaution. This is a jar with plain clean water, sterilized in a pressure cooker. In the plastic bag I have some more sterilized water and a large syringe without the needle. We sprinkle the syringe with bleach solution. That's something we have to do with anything that goes inside the glove box. Let's get our seed pod here. As you can see, the pod is already open, so we must disinfect the seeds before we sow them. I'm cutting the tip of the pod here with a knife I previously sterilized on top of a flame. Now pull the plunger off the syringe, but be careful not to touch the rubber tip. Let's get something like 1/3 of a teaspoon of seeds inside the syringe. Let's tap it lightly. A little more, that's it. Now push the plunger carefully, almost all the way. I'm pulling in 10 milliliters of sterile water. Then measure 3 milliliters of bleach and add a tiny bit of detergent. Oops, that was way too much. The detergent will help disperse the seeds well so they all get free of contamination. Now give it a good shake until you see all seeds are well dispersed in the liquid. Sprinkle the syringe one more time with bleach solution. The seeds must remain in the solution for at least 15 minutes, but no longer than 20 minutes. That's important. Too long in bleach will hinder the seeds' capacity to germinate or even kill them altogether. Let's place everything we need inside the glove box, starting with the jars we prepared on episode 5. Make sure the lids are not too tight, but don't open them yet. The bleach is very slippery with the gloves, and they will be hard to open if they are too tight. Now some more bleach on everything. I was forgetting to peel the PVC film from the rims. Wearing a mask is a good idea at this point. The last thing will be the syringe, and don't touch the tip. Now we quickly close it and... Oops, I did it again. I tipped the jar over with the glove. I should have put the jars in the center of the box. Wait until that 15-minute time for the seed is up. Not much more than that. So it's finally time for sewing. Avoid touching the interior of the lids or the tip of the syringe. Transfer some of the seeds to each one of the jars and keep them open for as little as possible. Think your movements through in advance. Be quick, but careful and steady. Don't rush. practice makes perfect, and with time and repetition, our results will get better and better. You realize it is a very tight space inside the box. Things are quite slippery and there's no easy hand maneuver here. So you ask me, can't you make a bigger box then? Not really. The gloves are fixed to the box and you wouldn't reach any farther than this anyhow. I'm going to put the link to a channel called Here But Not in the description. His videos were of great help in my journey learning how to sow orchid seeds. He shows a different but interesting glove box model. And he uses peroxide to disinfect the seeds rather than bleach. It is always good to have options. Just remember, the peroxide has a very short shelf life and loses strength quickly. Don't buy and store it in advance. Okay, now this was the last jar, and once it's closed shut, we can open the glove box. And again we seal them all with a 3 to 4 inch wide PVC film. And don't forget to tag every single jar. From now on, you want to keep them in a brightly illuminated place, but away from direct sunlight. In the next episodes, some of my results and how to proceed when it's time to replant the seedlings to a new jar. All you have to do is subscribe for free, and if you're liking our videos, give us a thumbs up.